Hi friends, Guy here, and welcome to Storytime Saturday, where I'm going to share a story about my life. But first, you're probably wondering about those two swords behind me, and I did tell you that I'd tell you about them. Anyway, moving on. So, my best friend Richard. I call him something that you're not allowed to say on the air, but moving on, his name is Richard. So, I'm working as a car prep, or like a car washer slash detailer slash cleaner. Very chic, very cool. I made like whatever the minimum wage was at the time, because like I was 18 years old, and it was the best I could do. It was my first thing out of high school, and at the time, that's just kind of what you did. So I did my best to boomer it up and pull myself up by my bootstraps. Got a job at this rental car company. But, I can't really say what the rental car company's name is on air because I don't want to get sued. That's really a bad idea. Hello?
Tell them. You know you want to.
Do it! Anyway. That was really stupid. I'm so sorry. That was really dumb. All right, so my best friend Richard, I meet him when I'm working this crappy job, making minimum wage. I was introduced to him from my best friend Angus at the time. He was a really big dude, and Angus, he loved to talk with a Scottish or perhaps Irish or perhaps Welsh accent. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure he was sure either because I'm pretty sure he was a kid from America. But in any way, he's a really funny guy. I like him quite a bit. He was a really good friend to me. I hope he sees this video someday. But I digress. So my good friend Angus walks up to me and he says, "Here, this is this guy, Richard. Can you get him a job at your crappy rental car company?" And I'm like, "Oh, damn. Okay, why not? Sure. But first, let me look at this guy. Is he here with you?" He's like, "Yeah." So my guy Angus is like the size of two men. He's built like a brick house. And so out waltzes this dude behind him. Richard walks in. I notice the first thing I see about him is like he's wearing like these like regular sneakers. Pretty normal. And like I'm sizing him up, right? Doing the ocular pat down. I see he's wearing like black acid wash jeans with like ripped stuff all over him. Then he's got like this glorious black silk screen printed t-shirt with all this like gunk all over it. And like at the time, I totally ripped into him. But like, honestly, you shouldn't rip into your friends like that. And that lets me segue into, guys, we gotta be good to each other. If somebody in your life is going through some crap, or they're just not having a good time, or they're trying something new, maybe a new hairstyle that looks like a weird scorpion in the back of their head, and you think to yourself, "Oh, I've got to make fun of this, obviously," and then you do, and then you know what? You feel like a jerk afterwards, because we should lift each other up. So, back to my story. For a long time, I didn't have many friends. He stuck by me for a long time, even through some really bad times. How do you forge a friendship like this? A friendship that could last decades? Well, you got to put in work, guys. So let's start if you're at level 0. Let's say you have 0 friends and you go to work and you come home and you feel terrible every day. And you shouldn't have to feel like that, bro. I'm telling you, you shouldn't. That's not okay. So how do we fix that? Well, let's start by making you some friends. I think that's a good first step. I want to talk about something I used, what worked for me to go from having only really Richard left and maybe like 1 or 2 people I kind of talked to, but I wasn't really hanging out with, to now I have a buttload of friends. How do we do that? Well, have you heard about Meetup? Meetup I mentioned in a previous video, but you can find all sorts of things like board games, trivia nights, trips to different locations, camping, trade type groups. Obviously, you have to live near like a more like suburban or a city type area for this, but guess what? Meetup exists and it's free to use. What if you just start your own Meetup? Like some friends of mine started up a Meetup for playing board games, and that became like a regular weekly thing that I love going to, and I get to meet people, and it's wonderful. And maybe you can do that too. Maybe you can try just making yourself socially available, going out and doing things like that and just being positive. Remember, we don't tear each other down, guys. We got to lift each other up. I believe in you. I know you can do this. Believe in the you that believes in the me that believes in you, homies. You have a good one. Oops. All right. Now you have a good one.